Joe Biden is speaking live now. Orlando, Joe Biden.
Ms. Joe Biden, I work for Bill Nelson and Grace Nelson. Two of the best people I ever worked with. I say two of them. Grace, how you doing, kiddo? Great to see you. I love you. Hey, folks, I want to thank Buddy for the passport into town. You know, the mayor, you know, I always, unlike Trump, I really don't mind. The baby crying, I mean. You guys got to pick up a little bit here, man. Come on, let's move it. Buddy's been a great friend and a great mayor, and he's always there to help. And, you know, mayor's a real job. They know where you live, and it's totally bipartisan. The garbage gets picked up, the police show up, the fire service shows up or doesn't show up. It has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican, and Buddy's done one hell of a job, and I'm glad to call my friend. And my buddy Bill is going to be traveling with me as I head down to Sarasota to continue this effort to make sure that people show up, turn out, and elect Hillary Clinton President of the United States of America. I was with Patrick Murphy up in New York doing a fundraiser with him, and he can't be here today. He's doing an editorial board, I'm told, another part of the state. And hang on to that race, guys. He's going to win that race. Watch this race. And Congressman Murphy, Stephanie, you're a heck of a candidate, kid. You're a heck of a candidate. And I believe I genuinely believe you're going to win this race wherever you are now. I don't know where you're standing now, but you know, the American dream is still alive. I don't know where Trump and everybody else live, but it's still alive. People still believe we are better positioned than any nation in the world to own the 21st century, and it's because the American people never, ever, 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 ever give up. They never give in. They never bend. Folks, last week I was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and he asked me a question. And it was a serious question. He said, have I ever seen a debate focused so much on fact-checking? And my answer was completely honest and spontaneous. Said, I've never seen a candidate who knows so few facts on foreign policy and national security. And I never have. No, I'm serious. I, honest to God, don't believe ever in the history of the United States of America has a major party candidate been less informed, dangerously uninformed, like he is. His unabashed admiration for Vladimir Putin, one of the most dangerous leaders in the world today, his lack of awareness that Russia already has invaded Ukraine and occupies Crimea. To his credit, he recently acknowledged he realized Crimea is part of Ukraine, which is like he's going to acknowledge there's gravity later too. Look, man, you know, I mean this sincerely. I genuinely mean this. His threat not to protect the Baltic states against a Russian invasion, they're a NATO ally, required me to go from Australia to meet with all three Baltic presidents, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, to tell them, I mean deadly earnest, to tell them, no, that is not only not our administration's view, it's not the view of any Republicans except Donald Trump. His cavalier talk about a nuclear arms race in Asia is dangerous. His designation and denigration of the United States military, the finest, this is not hyperbole, the finest fighting force in the history of the world. That is not hyperbole. This one. No, it really is. And is playing in the hands of terrorists around the world. Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, a proxy for Iran, top surrogate He says he is a direct threat to us, to our military personnel in the region. And here's what he said about Donald Trump's comment that President Obama founded ISIL. No, by the way, everybody here knows it's bizarre, but urban legend in the Middle East is a Sunni-Shia conflict. It is not just a nation conflict. It's a Sunni-Shia conflict. And one of the ways to put our people in harm's way is to tell the Sunnis in the region that we really are, tell the Shia in the region, we really are supporting extreme outfits like ISIL, or ISIS, or Daesh, as they say in the Middle East. Here's what Nasrallah said to Trump's accusation. He said, quote, "This is not simple speech," referring to Trump. He said, "This is an American presidential candidate. This was spoken on behalf of the American Republican Party." And he, referring to Trump, has the documents to prove the president has done this. That has sent up an alarm throughout every place we are in the Middle East, feeding the urban legend. You know, but if being the most uninformed candidate for president in the history of America is not enough to disqualify him, his lack of sensibilities are disqualifying. And I really mean this. I've been characterized as having gotten angry about some of the stuff he said. It's not about him or his character. It's about his lack of understanding of who we are as a people. The way he comports himself and the words he utters, and I mean this with every fiber of my being, are truly beneath the dignity of the office of the President of the United States. Says, "I didn't pay any federal taxes, possibly for more than 18 years. He said, "That makes me smart." What does that make the rest of Americans, including very wealthy businessmen who pay their fair share? Rooting for a housing crisis that ruined the lives of millions of God-fearing Americans, millions of Floridians who never missed a mortgage payment, who relied upon the equity in their home to get their kid to college or to be able to retire without having to rely on their children, robbing them of their peace of mind. What did he say? He didn't deny that. He said, "That's good business." I'm serious. I mean, stiffing hundreds of small businessmen and women who worked on his projects. He said, maybe I didn't like the quality of their work. Can you imagine? This is a Democratic audience. Can you imagine Ronald Reagan ever saying any one of those things? Can you imagine George H.W. Bush or George W. Bush? I mean, it's absolutely beyond my comprehension that any president of the United States would ever utter publicly any of those sentiments. And what type of leader? And then, this isn't just, it's just in talking point, but you got to really think about the character of somebody. What type of leader awakens at 3 o'clock in the morning? No. I'm being deadly earnest. You don't have to be a psychologist or psychiatrist. But what kind of leader awakens at 3 o'clock in the morning and tweets, "Hillary helped, quote, disgusting Alicia M. become a U.S. citizen so she could use her in a debate"? Or 3:30 in the morning. This guy wants to be president of the United States of America. I tell you what, I've traveled over 1,150,000 miles so far as vice president. I know, it's not about me. There isn't anything to thank me about. No. Look, it's not that bad. I have my own plane. I don't go through a metal detector. But here's the point. Because everybody knows when I'm abroad, I speak for the president, and there's never anything missed between the cup and the lip. I've met every major world leader. I've known them before I had this job because I've been around so long as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. And I swear to God, They are very, very, very worried. What's happened to the United States is my constant question I get asked. E.J. Dionne in the Washington Post this morning said it best, and I'm quoting him. He said, the answer is that this episode, remaining the call at 3:30, the tweet 3:30 in the morning, and then at 5 or whatever, how many hours it was, that this episode should finally force everyone to say, enough. He goes on to say, Trump is neither normal nor stable. No. I'm quoting him, not me. He said he is manifestly dangerous to our country and erratic in everything except his unrestrained meanness. End of quote. Look, folks, this matters. The reason the world repairs to us is not just the power of our military, but it's the example we set for the world. Not just the example of our power, but the power of our example. That's why people repair to the United States. That's why they look to us. That's why we're able to lead. There's a lot at stake, folks. And his policy proposals are equally as erratic and ill-suited for America. While Hillary Clinton are designed to actually continue to lift up the middle class, move this country forward so that America can own the 21st century like we did the 20th. Again, we are better positioned than any country in the world to do that. That's not hyperbole. We don't focus enough on the positive. One of the things, my advice to the campaign and me, is we should start talking more about what we're going to do, where we are, what the future is. Folks, we've gone from an economic crisis to recovery, and we're on the cusp of genuine resurgence. Look at the recent Census Bureau data. 5.2% growth in household wealth, the fastest one-year growth ever. With typical household incomes, no, we got to do a lot more, but household incomes going up 28%. First time, highest ever in 1 year. 3.5 million people taken out of poverty, not into poverty, out of poverty. The poverty rate fell faster than any time since 1968. More than 15 million jobs over 78 months. More than all the advanced economies in the world combined. Let me say that again. Every other major economy in the world, we have produced more jobs in this 78-month period than all of them combined. Yeah. Now look, we got a long way to go. The unemployment rate's cut from 10 to 4.9. Foreclosures are abated, housing prices are up, homeowners are out from underwater, but there's so much more we can do. We are so well positioned. As I said, imagine, this is not hyperbole, imagine. Can you think of any leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the President of the United States? Not a joke. I remember back when I was a younger senator, and I debating at the Wharton School, someone from the Heritage Foundation. Their argument was Japan was going to own the United States. None of you are old enough, some of you are old enough to remember. Remember, Japan was buying the United States. And I argued then it was not possible. Look at Japan. We want them to do better, but look at Japan. Look at its growth rate, or lack thereof. The European Union, 385 million people. How can we compete? Our prayer now is that they come back. We need them to grow. I came from a little steel town in Delaware we moved called Claymont, Delaware. The rest of the world's not a patch on our genes. We are, no, they're good people. But we are so much better positioned. We have the largest economy in the world. Does anybody think that China is going to eat our lunch? Look, guys, they don't have, and I want them to do well. It's in our interest they remain stable and do well. But folks, they don't have any energy. They don't have water. They don't have enough water. They're talking about a $2 trillion project to change the direction of their major rivers to move to population centers. A significant portion of their arable land is polluted by cadmium. They cannot grow what they need to eat. Ladies and gentlemen, The reason we're going to do so well is not because of Barack and Joe Biden. No, 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 I'm serious. This is not about a play. This is real.